Welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. In the past few days, the term "nongguan" and its concept have gained tremendous attention on Chinese social media after videos of heavily armed police patrolling empty fields went viral. Nongguan in English means agricultural management officers, agricultural managers, or rural managers. There is no such profession or term in Western countries. I will explain what they do later. Experts say this is the latest move by Xi Jinping to turn China into another North Korea, and it could also be related to the looming food crisis. So today I will discuss this issue. I will show you quite a few video clips and social media posts that you won't see elsewhere. First, let's take a look at a video. You can see a team of fully armed officers walking on farmland. They are members of the newly formed Nongguan team, or agriculture management team, which is responsible for law enforcement in rural areas. I don't know what the Nongguan team was all about, so I looked it up online and found that the Chinese government had actually issued a document called the Agricultural Comprehensive Administrative Law Enforcement Management Measures in September last year. According to this piece of regulation, which came into effect on January 1st of this year, the Nongguan team's main function is to, quote, exercise agricultural administrative penalties and related administrative inspections and enforcement powers in the name of agricultural and rural departments, unquote. Yesterday, that's April 17th, CCP's mouthpiece Xinhua News Agency published a report titled Xi Jinping's Important Speeches on the Work of Agriculture, Rural Areas, and Farmers are published and distributed. The report stated that the book is an important part of Xi Jinping's new era of socialism with Chinese characteristics and a guide for action and fundamental principles for doing a good job in the new era's new journey of agriculture, rural areas, and farmers. As we know, the CCP was able to start and develop with the so-called peasant movement or peasant revolution, and the surrounding the cities from the countryside was Mao Zedong's famous strategy to eventually win power from the Nationalist Party. So far, agriculture, rural areas, and farmers' importance to the stability of the CCP's rule is no less than that of cities. Therefore, the CCP's increased control over rural areas at this time must be taken seriously. However, I must admit that I still don't understand what the Nongguan team does and how it operates even after reading the official documents, which consists of 6 chapters and 45 articles and is as long as 5,000 words. Nevertheless, on social media, netizens have shared their own observations and experiences. First of all, just like the CCP's National Defense Mobilization Office has quickly been established in cities of all sizes, various agricultural management teams have also rapidly been established in different regions. For example, this is the inauguration ceremony of the legal dress code of the agriculture management team in Hubei province. And this is an agricultural comprehensive administrative law enforcement dress display event. And this is the agricultural comprehensive administrative law enforcement building in a certain city. And these vehicles have agricultural law enforcement written on them, which means that these are vehicles of the agricultural management team. This is the Agricultural Law Enforcement Building and Agricultural Law Enforcement Detachment unveiling ceremony in Qionghai City, Hainan Province. Interestingly, an agricultural management officer personally explained what agricultural management means. Let's listen to what he says. Please read the English titles I added.
算什么？你们交管管不了的，我们管；你们城管管不了的，我们也要管。王权特许，先斩后奏，这就是农管。
Well, I think his last sentence revealed the essence. We have special permission from the emperor to act first and report later. This means that rural management officers have actually obtained permission from the Chinese Communist emperor to act first and report later. Now let's watch another video. Okay, this is a rural management. Oh no. So this is the rural management officers taking an oath saying that they are loyal to the country and loyal to the people. This is
我们全省有5000多名执法人员，每个人都有一个唯一的编号。这个麦穗就是我们农业的丰收的这个代表。
So that was the Deputy Director of Hubei, a provincial agricultural comprehensive administrative law enforcement bureau, being interviewed, saying that there are more than 5,000 agricultural management law enforcement officers in Hubei province. Each person has a unique number, etc. And this is the uniform emblem of the rural management officers. As for the specific responsibilities of the rural management officers, this netizen explained that they mainly include the following aspects. 1. Prohibit burial in earth and fine those who violate the rules. I guess the CCP only allows cremation, as they say burial in earth will take up farmland. 2. To ensure that no fruits or vegetables are planted in front of the houses. 3. To ensure that farmers won't cut down trees that they planted. And 4, to ensure that farmers won't sell their pigs, sheep, chickens, etc. privately. The netizen added a note after this item saying they want to manage everything. And 5, to ensure that nobody will burn firewood as it will pollute the environment. 6, to ensure that nobody will burn stock and those who violate the rules will be fined. 7, to ensure that nobody will set off fireworks during the Chinese New Year and those who violate the rules will be fined. 8, to ensure that nobody will burn domestic waste, and those who violate the rules will be fined. And 9, to ensure that nobody will plant plants other than crops. So this.
種豬舍冇，阿哥，我都講我冇豬舍冇豬舍。
So this video shows that the rural management officers have already started to fulfill their duties in their fields. The video uploader said that farmers are not allowed to use machinery to till the land. And this is in Yuncheng, Shanxi province, where rural management officers are enforcing the law and driving over 1-2 jujubes that belong to the farmers. The video uploader said that this is to crack down on farmers who pick grain and sell grain. The so-called pick grain and sell grain means picking and selling the fruit before it is ripe. This behavior is prohibited by the government, which believes that it will lower the quality of winter jujubes, damage the reputation of them, and affect their sales, and so on.
这说拘留不算回事，拘留罚款。这。
So this is in Tiantai County, Taizhou City, Zhejiang Province, where poppies grown by the farmers have been uprooted. I guess poppies belong to plants other than crops. So this happened just yesterday on April 17th in the city in northeast China on the first day of work for the agriculture management officers. They discovered that a farmer's freezer had a problem. In order to ensure the farmer's safety, they say, they forcefully took away the freezer. So this is called Operation Chicken Sweep. You can see officers taking away farmers' chickens with some kind of special tools. Okay, this post says that the fish pond that this netizen operates has been visited 3 times by agriculture management office officials. They said that corn and beans are not allowed to be planted around the fish pond, but cucumbers are okay. The officials also demanded that the trees around the fish pond be planted because yellow leaves in autumn are not good to look at. This screenshot is a chat record of 111 members. The agriculture management officials requested that each household report how much livestock they are raising. The following people replied: Li Wenxin's family have 50 chickens, 10 ducks, 8 geese, and 2 dogs. Heng He's family has 55 chickens and 1 dog. Zhu Yan's family has 1 dog and 1 cat. Yang Wenliang's family has 1 dog, 6 chickens, and 2 pigs. Li Bin's family has 5 geese, 2 chickens, 1 dog, and 1 pig, etc. What's even more unbelievable is that now farmers have to get certified to farm. This is a thing of farmers taking the so-called agricultural certification exam. This is also the exam site. So one netizen said that his grandfather had been farming his whole life but failed the exam. After passing the exam, one can receive a new type of professional farmer certificate issued by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the People's Republic of China. And this is a farmer showing his farmer certificate. And this is a new type of professional farmer training certificate jointly issued by the Hubei Agricultural Broadcasting and Television School and the Hubei Farmer Science and Technology Examination and Training Center. I speculate that those who have not obtained the farmer certificate need to receive training here. The consequences of not having a certificate are serious. This picture shows an agricultural management officer checking the credentials of a farm machinery operator who was fined on the spot for operating without a certificate. And this is the agricultural management officials going door to door to register how many pigs, chickens, ducks, and fish are raised at each household, how many acres of land they have, what they plant, what time they work in the field every day, and what they do when they are not working in the field, etc. And this is also an agricultural management of this is also agricultural management officers enforcing the law in the fields. It is not clear what exactly they are doing. And this post says that from now on, rural areas will also have to pay property fees. It is said that it will be 5 cents per person per day, and it will only cost less than 20 yuan a year. However, if a household has 6 people, the expenditure for this family will be about 110 yuan, which is already equivalent to the pension of a rural elderly person for 1 month. Before this, property fees were only paid by city residents who live in some sort of community development and need to pay property management fees for sanitation, security guards, greening, etc. This kind of fees also needed in the US if you live in certain kinds of apartments or so-called condos. But in China, farmers have never paid the so-called property fees before. They live in their own houses and do not need to bear the common costs that urban residents need to bear. Now, look at this. This is a purchase list of the Agriculture and Rural Bureau of Linzhi City in the Tibet region in China. The date is February 15th this year. From the top to bottom, the items are wiki-walkie, undercover, forensic equipment, camera, audio recorder, body camera, first aid kit, security tape, signal jammer, microphone, monitoring and recording equipment for interrogation rooms, stamp-proof vest. This is the page 2 of the list. The items are life-saving rope, pulse light, glare rod control device or electric baton, loudspeaker, police rope, high-power flashlights, GPS locator or handheld, and a night vision device. After checking the list, one can't help asking, does the agricultural law enforcement team really need night vision devices and signal jammers? Are they going after a rebellion or something? Considering all the above information, it seems that the CCP is going to implement more comprehensive and strict control in rural areas and wants to control all the blank areas that were not previously controlled. On the one hand, this is the need for further strengthening of the CCP's totalitarian rule, and on the other hand, it may also be preparation for possible war or food crisis. One piece of evidence that can support this claim is that the CCP has recently been promoting a policy called turning the forests into farmland, in which areas previously used for forestry or planted with trees are being converted back into farmland for grain production. This policy has been promoted as a means of ensuring food security and has already been implemented in several provinces, including Shandong, Henan, Inner Mongolia, and even Guangdong province. Now watch this. can see a farmer cutting down trees even in the midst of a dust storm to facilitate the turning the forests into farmland policy. You can see in this video that uniformed rural management officers supervising workers who are cutting down trees to make way for farmland.
4月12号，4米白皮书正在反穗州。
So this happened on April 12th in Fufeng County, Shanxi Province. Pine trees were pushed down by a tractor so that the forest can be turned into farmland. Some have suggested that the three rural issues, agriculture, rural areas, and farmers, form the political foundation of Xi Jinping's North Korea-style model. The newly established rural management teams, agricultural production cooperatives, agricultural product supply and marketing cooperatives, and other organizations indicate that Xi Jinping's rural policy is taking shape. In 1 to 2 years, China will become a large prison of 1.6 million square kilometers. In China, there is an ancient saying, the sky is high and the emperor is far away. The meaning is that no matter how powerful the emperor is, he cannot control remote areas. In other words, in China's thousands of years of history, imperial power seldom reached below the village level. In the vast rural areas, it was mostly governed by local gentry autonomy or clan autonomy. After the CCP came to power, the party began to control everything, and every village had a party branch. During the People's Commune era of the 1950s and 60s, farmers were not even allowed to have their own pots, and everyone had to eat in a collective dining hall. Soon, China experienced a 3-year famine and tens of millions of people died of starvation. Later, after the Cultural Revolution, the Chinese economy was on the brink of collapse, and the CCP had no choice but to loosen its control over the countryside and implement the so-called contract responsibility system, which allowed farmers to contract land and cultivate it on their own. Since then, farmers have been able to solve some of their food problems through their own labor. However, their burden is heavy, and they had to pay a lot of taxes. In August 1999, a farmer surnamed Zhou in Fengcheng, Jiangxi Province, incited farmers to resist agricultural taxes and was beaten to death by the township government. His death angered the farmers, causing 40,000 of them to surround the township government. The township chief and officials were thrown down from the second floor and buried alive by angry farmers. The body of the police station chief was hung on the tree as a warning. This vicious incident shocked the CCP extremely. Shortly after that, on August 31st, an emergency meeting was held by the State Council, which decided to abolish agricultural taxes. So starting from 2000, Jiangxi Province piloted the abolition of agricultural taxes, and in 2003, agricultural taxes were abolished throughout China. However, now the CCP is once again strengthening its control over rural areas and even creating a new profession of nongguan, or rural management, with a large number of personnel. If the CCP goes so far as to control how many chickens or ducks a farmer can keep at home, or how crops or what crops they can grow by their fish ponds, will it not once again trigger a disaster like the Great Famine or a fierce rebellion among farmers? It is impossible to know for sure. However, it may indeed be sure that the destruction of the CCP by heaven seems to be underway. Chinese people often say cosmic timing, favorable earth conditions, and human harmony. The current cosmic timing seems to be moving toward the destruction of the CCP. Do you agree? Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please double check if you are still subscribed to my channel, as YouTube keeps taking off my subscribers. And if you like my content, please spread my channel and videos, or go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com, jenniferzengblog.com. Sign up for a membership or make a donation to support my effort. Thank you. See you.